Hello, wonderful people. Welcome back to another flow. It's been raining here for the last like 5-10 minutes, but it's pretty light, so I'm hoping that it stays that way. We are back at Calenzo Cafe. Such a beautiful place, and I just want to thank them so much for letting me film here. Today's class is going to be pretty slow and mellow. We are working up into our Kurmasana, our tortoise turtle pose. This is part of our August Animals series, so if you are curious about any of the other animal poses that we try, then have a look at some of the other videos that we post or have posted. So our Kurmasana, our turtle pose, it's a wide-legged forward bend, so we need quite a bit of openness through the back of the hamstrings and the adductors, the insides of the legs, as well as a bit of openness through the hips and the spine. Our Kurmasana is quite well known for being an asana that allows us to draw more within, so withdrawing from the kind of the external stimulus around us, and it's quite a significant animal within yoga mythology. We're going to get started on our backs today, so come down onto your backs. If you've got a block, you're more than welcome to bring that into your practice. Otherwise, absolutely fine if not. Roll yourself down. We'll just land for a moment of breath, a moment of checking in. Letting the back be heavy on the ground. Maybe you do just a quick scan of the body to notice where you may be holding any tension. And then with one full long breath, can you let that tension slide away? Almost like you're melting it towards the earth, knowing that the earth will catch any holding that you have. It's there to support you. Let's take about maybe 5 more really deep breaths. You might even place one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly, seeing if we can send our breath into our hands. Letting our thoracic cavity become full of air, which helps stimulate our prana, our life force, with the more intention that we bring into our breaths and our movements today. And the first asana that we're going to land in is a happy baby. Now this may feel quite intense as a first asana, so feel free to just take the knees wide, maybe the hands come around the shins and pull the knees wide towards the ribs. Now you might stay here, you could walk the hands up towards the ankles, maybe you walk the hands towards the outsides of the feet. Perhaps it feels good to take a little rock side to side on the spine. Here comes the rain. See if you can draw the tailbone down towards the ground, draw the shoulders down, maybe pressing the heels away from you. Maybe it feels good to draw one foot in, then draw the other foot out, and then stopping. Can you be intuitive here? What is your body feeling like today? Maybe it feels like a bit more stillness. Maybe it feels like a bit more movement. How can we honor and serve ourselves the most in this practice, both on this mat, but also off the mat into the rest of our day? And see if you can bring the soles of the feet together and press the knees out wide. So we're in a Supta Baddha Konasana shape. Hands are still around the outsides of the feet. And then you might start to lift the chin up so that the nose is pulling in the direction of the ankles. Maybe the elbows touch the insides of the legs. You could try press them out so the knees travel wide along the mat. Take a big breath in. Maybe lift up a little bit more as you exhale. Can you press the knees out just a little bit more? One more breath here. Of course, you can take this asana with the head down on the ground as well. Slowly unwind, bring the feet towards the edges of the mat. Take a little window wiper side to side with the knees. So they're dropping the knees in one direction, dropping the knees in the other direction. You might feel a nice stretch along the hip flexor and the quad. And then when you're ready, slide the feet close towards the hips. We'll find a Setu Bandhasana. Hands come by the sides. This is going to counter a lot of the forward bending that we do today. Take a big breath in. Start to press through the heels. Lift up the hips. Squeeze the glutes. Press the knees out over the toes. Finding length through the front body. Strength through the back body. Big breath in. Exhale, roll down the spine. Hug the knees towards the chest. Take a few rock and rolls up and down the spine. And once we're up again, cross over the feet. Find your way into a child's pose. So the knees might come narrow, they might come a little bit wider. Bring the hips out, down over the heels. Rest the upper body down towards the earth. Noticing where you can feel sensation if you can at this moment. Take a big breath in through the nose, fill up through the back of the ribs, the back of the chest. And then as you exhale, can you feel the pull of your attention towards your breath, towards your body? Let's wander ourselves up. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders. We're going to step our left foot outside our left hand to find a kneeling lunge position here. See if you can travel the right foot towards the left side of the mat. Sorry, dropping down into the heels. Dropping down into the hips. This already might feel quite intense. You might stay here. You might start to come down to your elbows. Maybe you use your block here if you're kind of halfway. One final option if you're feeling quite open is to take the fingertips out long. It's a big opener for the adductors on both of the legs as well as the spine. Take about 2 more breaths here. Big breath in, fill up. Exhale, drop in. Let's walk the hands back. Thought this rain would stop, but it's keeping going. Let's shift the hips forward and back slightly, but keep the pivot of the hips towards the side. You might lift up the toes as you sink the hips back. Nice, let's try about 1 more breath here. Big breath in. Exhale. Walk yourself back to center. We're going to walk the right hand towards the back of the mat to find a side plank here. Take a big breath and lift the left hand high. Make sure that the left foot is in line with the right leg. As you exhale, try twist the left hand towards the right side of your mat, the now right side of the mat. Now, if your hand can touch onto the right heel, the right calf, you can use that grip as a way to pull the shoulders open a bit more here. We're going to stay here for about 3 more breaths. You might feel this through the left side body, through the shoulders. You can always reduce the twist as much as you need. 1 more big breath in. Exhale. Drop down a little bit more. Walk the hands out in front of you so they're in line with the knees. Find a long spine here. Inhale. Exhale, can you shift the hips back a little bit? Inhale, shift forward. Last time, exhale, shift back. Bring the hands towards the ground, support your body weight for a moment as you slide the right foot in a little bit. So we're sitting down onto our hips. Right foot, we're going to travel it around slightly so the toes turn out. Okay, this is where you may want to use a block if you wanted a bit more support. We're going to lift up into a skandasana. So hands come towards heart center. See if you can press yourself up. This is a very active pose. So again, you can slide a block or a pillow or something underneath you to support your weight a bit more. You press the right knee out with the elbow. It's okay if the heel is off slightly here. Draw the shoulders down the spine, lift the left toes towards the sky. Take a big breath in, find a little bit more length, a little bit more push out of the ground. As you exhale, lower the hips down. Right knee is going to travel towards the left knee. Take a big breath in, maybe you stay a little bit more lifted, or as you exhale, maybe you walk yourself forward a little bit more. Tuck the chin in towards the chest. Inhale, roll yourself back up. As you exhale, open the right knee out again, turn the right toes out slightly, skandasana. Breathe in, lift up. Exhale, lower the hips, draw the right knee towards the left. Inhale, find a little bit more length. You can always pop a block underneath your hips if you need. Exhale, fold forward, draw the left toes back a bit if you can. Inhale, walk high. Exhale, plant the foot and lift yourself up. Okay, we're going to stay here for a few more breaths this time. We have the option to try and walk our hands out in front of us, coming up high onto fingertips. Maybe you have a play with where your hands go, so maybe more towards the right, maybe more towards the left. Just make sure you're in a position that you feel comfortable to breathe in. Okay, if you can't breathe, if you're clenching too much, you've gone a little bit too far. One more breath. Let's lower ourselves toward the ground. Bring the right foot towards the left knee so that we're facing towards the front of our mat. We're going to counter all of that kind of deep forward bends with a slight back bend. Hands come behind the hips, turn the fingertips towards your hips. Pardon me. We're going to press through the right heel and lift the hips high into our Ardha Parvattanasana. So press both heels down, lift out of the shoulders, squeeze the glutes. Try to draw the left toes down a bit more. Take a big breath in, lift high. Exhale, lower yourself down. We're going to try that all on the other side. So cross over the feet. This time our right foot is going to travel to the outside of the right hand. Okay, find your kneeling lunge position first. Left toes might draw towards, well, the left toes should draw towards the right side of the mat. That's going to make it a little bit more comfortable for our joints. And then hands might stay on the ground here as you start to drop the hips down towards the earth. Maybe you bring your elbows down to a block or to a pillow or something that will make the distance a bit more. Of course, if the elbows meet the ground, feel free to stay there, or you can bring the fingertips out on a diagonal. If you've got the fingertips out, can you pull the armpits in the direction of the ground? That's going to protract the shoulder blades away from each other to open through the upper back. Try take longer breaths here. Make sure that the right knee is pressing out towards the outside of the mat so it's not caving in too much. One more breath. This might feel pretty intense. I know it does for me. Okay, we're going to unwind a little bit. Bring the hands back up. Let's just shift back and forward a bit. It might be a little shift. It might be a bigger shift. You might keep the toes down. You might play with lifting up the toes as you travel back. Let's try one more breath here. Find your way back through center. We're going to walk the left hand until it makes the way towards the back of the mat. Turn the fingertips towards the back. Right foot comes in line with the left foot. Turn the right toes towards the side. Reach the right hand high. Breathe in, find space, open high. Exhale, try twist the right hand so draws towards the now left side of our mat. And the hand might stay down on the mat. You might try clasp the calf, maybe it reaches towards the ankle. Finding maybe space down the right side body. Keep the right foot pressing down, so we're active through the back leg. Take one more breath here. And then unwind the arms. Bring the hands out so they're in front of you, finding a long spine. Breathe in. Exhale, keep the right foot down as you travel the hips back a bit. Keep the spine in neutral. Inhale, come back through center last time. Exhale, travel it back. Bring the weight down onto your palms. Going to support the weight as we slide the left foot in slightly. Right foot stays out towards the front. Left foot starts to pick up so that the left toes, this already might feel like quite a challenging position. So please feel free to stay here. Okay, if you're ready for a bit more activeness, press out of both heels, lift yourself high. It's important that we engage through our right leg here. So right knee draws up towards the quadricep. We're pressing the left knee out with the elbow. Again, if this is feeling very, very intense, please slide something underneath your hips here so you can open with a bit more, feeling a little bit more comfortable. Okay, we're going to make this flow. So breathe in, lift up a little bit taller. Exhale, lower the hips down, start to draw the left knee towards the right knee. Breathe in here, find a little bit more length. Maybe you stay here. Maybe as you exhale, you fold yourself forward a bit. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, pivot the knee open. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, land. Let's try that one more time. Inhale, drop the knee. Exhale to fold. Can you draw the right toes back a bit more? Inhale, lift. Last time. Exhale, turn the toes out, lift the hips. Okay, we're going to stay here. See if we can walk the hands out, the fingertips out. So again, finding a deep forward bend here, draw the armpits towards the ground. Maybe you wander the hands over towards the left, maybe towards the right. One more breath. Keep the left knee pressing out. Lower the hips down. Turn towards the front of the mat. Slide the left foot right next to the right knee. Finding our Ardha Purvottanasana on this side. So breathe in, start to press through the heels, draw the right toes down. Exhale, lift the hips, squeeze the glutes. So finding strength in the back body, opening slightly through the front body. At any point if this becomes a little bit too much, just bring the feet together for reverse tabletop. Take a big breath in here. Exhale, lower the hips down. And this is where we get to practice our Kurmasana. So I'm going to come wide on the mat. So you want to make your feet like a V. So first kind of stopping point is to stay here. And if you can put a block underneath your hips to give you a little bit more height. Second stopping point is just walking yourself forward, trying to keep the knees lifted and kind of hinging from the hips. If you want to try your Kurmasana, which is a very big hinging motion and opening through the shoulders, then you can bend the knees. Find the hinge motion from the hips. Just try slide one hand towards the side, other hand towards the side so that the elbows are kind of underneath the knees. You come up onto fingertips and you might stay here. And then if you feel more comfortable, you can start to wander the feet out a little bit more and wander the hips back until maybe, it's a little bit hard on this ground, maybe you find the deep forward fold. Wherever you are, try stay here for about 5 more breaths. Can you make these breaths slow and steady? Finding length through the lower back first, then the mid back, then the upper back. finding that withdrawal sensation. So becoming very internal here. Just like the tortoise curling back into its shell, we are coming back home to ourselves. If you are in your Kurmasana, it's kind of a funny way of getting out of it. And there's no right way. Just make your way out really safely. Bending the knees, rolling yourself back. We'll finish in a seat to close out our practice. Finding a tall spine. Finding that internal rhythm. And if there's anything that you would like to take out of this practice out into the rest of your day, this is a great opportunity to do so. And in fact, the practice of yoga is not really even about these practices that we do on our mat. It's about the practice off the mat. And these kind of intensive practices allow us to learn skills and ways of looking inwards, so that when we come out into a more external gaze, we can implement those. Maybe hands stay in the lap, maybe hands come through heart center, maybe one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bowing our heads in honor of this practice of yoga. I thank you so much for practicing with me today. It was such a pleasure, and believe it or not, the sun is about to shine. So I really chose the time of this practice well, but we're not drenched. Thank you so much. From me to you, namaste. Again, check out some of the other videos we post this August for all of our animals, and support this video, like, comment, share it with a friend, or you go to Patreon, see how you can support me more directly. Much love to you.